we're back.
Word.
Where were we?
At the end of the third chapter.
Third chapter?
No, at the end of the book,
At the end of the
Genesis.
book. Okay. Everyone ready?
Yep.
Let's see. So near the end of the book, they go back to the third chapter of Genesis, and this describes the meaning of the world through like it being God's garden, and having two trees of life, one for the gods, and one for the people.
No, one is in the tree of
Oh
knowledge.
yeah. Wait, one of them
And
is
then the tree of life.
yeah, the tree of knowledge of good and evil is for the gods, and then the tree of life is for life on earth. And I mean, I feel like that can work towards, or that can hint towards civilization not being a completely terrible thing. It's just whether or not humans are able to work with everybody else to have a civilization where everybody has room to live, not just humans. And it describes, or Ishmael talks about how humans, or takers at least, are trying to eat from the fruit of that has the knowledge of good and evil in it, when they really should only be taking from the tree of life.
Yeah, the tree of good and evil. This is the only reoccurring thing. It's literally the embodiment of self-awareness. It's literally, as soon as we gain consciousness, our whole entire existence is to destroy.
So if we just don't eat from that tree, stick to the tree of life,
We could have been a primal planet
but still have civilization. It's just that civilization is not
we'd have
how it is now.
We'd have small pockets and communities.
Yeah.
But since we wouldn't have mainstream communication, we wouldn't have anything that was destroying the ozone.
Nothing to do with globalization.
The world would probably still be at around 60% oxygen, and which would allow us to live healthier lives. We'd adapt better, but we wouldn't know because we wouldn't be self-aware.
We're cursed by knowledge, the ignorance of the bliss.
Yeah. So okay, it's like civilization now needs to go, but civilization, air quotes, civilization of a whole world coming together as one isn't it's not a bad thing. So next question is, so Ishmael eventually gets taken back to the carnival, or to a carnival, and he's back behind a cage, and he still talks to his student, but he's also, like, during the day he still has to be an attraction that everyone ogles at and everything. So how I feel like that represents him as like a free thinker, or a thinker that's against what the common knowledge is, just kind of being caged back in and being put back into its role within civilization as it is now. What do you guys think?
Well, it's humanity. It's like an internal repression of something that's trying to do good, but it seems threatening. Like the boy, or the protagonist, when he first met Ishmael, he was like, okay, these are some pretty outlandish and whack ideas, but they all point towards like a good meaning, good core beliefs, and how Ishmael just wants to see the world thrive. And not just, when he means the world, he doesn't just mean man like we would always assume. Like when you say, oh, there should be world peace, you think, oh, just peace between countries. No, Ishmael wants the greater good for all beings that walk this earth. He wants everybody to revert to their subprimal state, where we were all just living and existing, not really holding grudges, no emotions to guide our actions. And the boy sees these as threatening, because inside of him, just like how he's put back in the carnival, we're getting pulled back into what we think is right and not what's right for everybody else.
If you look back at one of the first chapters, what separates Ishmael and our narrator is a thin piece of glass. So as the narrator is searching out this knowledge, it almost comes to him. He's very easily accepting of this knowledge, and he slowly drifts away from it for a week, even a week. And Ishmael is evicted, he's taken away, and now that knowledge he seeks is separated by bars. So now he's trying to learn more. He's trying to get what he needs, but there's a bar separation, and then eventually Ishmael dies.
Yeah, Ishmael. So sad. Ishmael dies of pneumonia, and then at first the student isn't taking it too well, but then he, after calling the family that initially raised Ishmael and telling them how he died and then how he's frustrated about it, they tell him, it's like, well, you're missing the point. It's not a terrible thing that Ishmael has died, because now you have that knowledge, and then he goes on to grow and to teach others. And it's just, okay, that leads me to the next question. It's like, after reading the book and after learning everything that the student learned and having a lot more insight into the world, it's like, are you actually inspired to like change it all, or just like have a hold of that knowledge and then keep on going with your life as it is now?
Well, in order for us to change, that would be literally impossible. We all, just like this, if we were to change, we wouldn't have a podcast like this. We would be outside, and we'd be embracing our primal self, or at least trying to, going on nature walks, doing hippie stuff. But then, if we were to change, it would only be the people who have ever read this book and experienced the thoughts and questions that arise when you read it. But then again, you have other people who, a little bit lower on the mental side of things, they'd read it and all they'd obtain from it was, yo, that's a talking monkey. That monkey spitting facts for real, but he a monkey.
Right over their head.
Yeah. So you have to look. This book only correlates to certain people who would be able to understand everything that he is trying to fit into our protagonist's head.
Yeah. Because there's no point in trying to make anything change if you can't get the entire population, or at least the overwhelming majority, to work towards it. And for such a drastic change like what he wants, to try to communicate that to a whole population is just...
Yeah, because you'd have self-desire, people who don't want to leave this life they have now, even if it means that they might die in 2 days compared to switching lifestyles and dying in 10 years. They wouldn't care. They'd much rather take those 2 days of comfort than take those 10 years out living how we were intended to live and created to live.
Yeah, that's final point, or final topic.
Monkey good.
To discuss. Without man, is there hope for gorilla? And without gorilla, is there hope for man? Thoughts?
I'd say for neither, there's no hope. So, mankind will not be able to form this great group that will end the taker mindset. And because we established in our first episode that gorilla will be the second coming of man if there's no more man. So I think that is a cycle, and there's no hope for neither.
What I think is there's hope for both, but the only way we'd be able to experience that hope is if we came together. If we decided to break down the evolutionary wall that prohibits us from being on the same level as monkeys. So we would have to accept them as man. We'd have to give them the same treatment as man. And then we'd also have to repress back into a monkey-like state, sort of like the Stone Age. And we'd have to live like that. And then there would be hope for everything. Because everybody would be able to thrive. Man would stop their hateful ways. We would stop destroying. We'd stop seeking out worldly gains. and we'd just live. We'd exist peacefully with everything else until our time came for us to be absorbed back into nature.
There wouldn't be have the same sense of fulfillment. I think that's also something that's keeping us away from really seeing any good and trying to do this change without just being completely miserable. Okay. Any final thoughts, just to wrap it up? Any like rating on the book or something?
Yeah, that book was a 10 though.
10 out of 10.
That was a 10. And also, dude, just a sentient monkey, bro. That is sick. That is the coolest thing ever. I want a little monkey.
I gotta say, he dragged out some topics for way too long.
Yeah.
Some things were brought up and then not discussed. Others were brought up and then carried on.
Yeah, brought up and then brought up again and again. And then it's like the first half, you just have like this mind explosion where you just feel like it's like the most incredible thing you've ever read. It's like, oh my god, I've never thought about it this way. And the second half, it kind of settles down and it starts to repeat the same points. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I got it. I think I got the gist.
That's a similar feeling I had.
Yeah. Still, cool freaking monkey.
Cool monkey.
Cool monkey.
Love monkey.
I give this 4 gorillas out of 5 chimpanzees.
I give it similar rating.
I give it like, I'm going to just keep it like white people. I'm going to just give it like a 9.8 out of 10 stars. I don't know why you guys going with monkeys, but...
Alright.
I'm going for 10 ooh-ahs out of 15.
Going for 3 Harambe's out of 5 small Cincinnati children.
Alright. And for our last word, perchance.
Perchance.